Welcome to the Light and Love Bex channel. This month we're going to be exploring courage. My name is Tracy Anderson.
And my name is Joe Courier. Welcome to the Light and Love Box channel. You are part of a growing community bringing peace, possibility, and prosperity to help transform our world and yours individually with light and love.
Today is kind of an exciting journey that we're going to take.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I feel kind of close to this topic because a I'm a Leo, and the life lesson of my life is kind of focused on the solar plexus.
Mhm.
And within there is courage, of course. And
Yes.
so uh, this topic kind of hits home for me personally because it's part of my life path.
I just have to say, part of mine too. Learning how to be brave in even the smallest of things for me, because I was always very shy, very quiet. And so part of my life journey has also been finding that courage that is just innate without being overly bold in someone's space or in their face, if you will.
Well, and I can really relate to that as well because for me, I think when I started out, I was really bold and in people's face, and it
Mm.
was really strong, and people took me the wrong way. But then over time, because of the reaction people had to me, then I kind of swung maybe too far in the other direction. And so now, of course, I'm trying to find balance in the middle. And I think that's just, it's interesting how no matter where you're coming from or what journey you're on, courage applies everywhere. But it's always finding that balance in the middle.
It is. And I find it interesting that some people are just innately born with this sense of being brave, of being adventurous, of wanting to just be in the place where they try new things and if there's something difficult that needs to be said or done or faced, they have an easier time doing it.
Mhm.
Whereas a lot of us, I think it's a process and it is a journey, and we just learn how to create our own innate courage and find, like you say, that balance.
Yeah, my mom, of course, named me Tracy, and so that actually means courageous.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of funny how all that comes together sometimes. But over the last, I don't know, probably month, I would say, I have really been challenged to dig into facing emotions that maybe
Mhm.
I pushed down with courage.
You and I have had this conversation because I have had a similar thing, and I'm sure many people have been in this place in their life where all of a sudden it's like it rises to the top. And when I say it, I mean emotions and the
Mm.
awareness that we have to do something differently. We have to face something or step boldly into something or create that sense within ourselves that being brave just means doesn't mean not having fear. I mean, that's one of the quotes that is very well known,
Mhm.
because being brave doesn't mean you aren't fearful. It means to move beyond it.
I think that's really important to note. One of the things that we talk extensively about on this channel is forgiveness of yourself, forgiveness of others, and all these different things. But what I've kind of noticed in this self-reflection time over the last month is that while I have been very, very skilled at forgiving others and moving beyond things, I have not allowed myself to experience the emotions of what that thing that maybe happened to me caused.
Right.
And so now I need to go back and almost look at those events from an emotional standpoint so
Mhm.
that then I can move through those situations and then be free.
Yes. And it occurs to me that as we do that, I mean, forgiveness often creates a sense of inner peace. But that inner peace isn't going to be lasting unless you do something to then move into the place where you do that self examination and you allow yourself to go into the emotions or the events or experiences, not in a traumatic way, but in a way that you become the observer and the one who can then look upon that situation or experience with through different eyes.
When you come at it from that observer standpoint, it lets you see the truth in a situation much easier so that you can move through that situation and move to the other side of it. But I think we almost have this fear around that process, even though it's gentle and it can be very simple, but we get all this anxiety and all this
Yep.
fear surrounding it. And so it it then it comes back to you need courage to move forward in
Yes.
this
And
situation.
well, and there was a passage I think that you were going to read about courage. I think this might be a really good time to do that.
I am going to be reading from it's the Naked Heart Tarot guidebook, and the card that is going to be kind of incorporated in the light, dark, and healing process of this ceremony or ritual, however you'd like to look at it, is part of that process. And I wanted everyone to experience this card in its full capacity because I think it's extremely powerful. So I'm gonna just read it so that we don't miss a beat.
Okay.
And just so you know, this was by Jillian Wild is the author of this guidebook. So the strength card is wildness tamed and inner strength free. The wild beast takes flight, rising gently with grace into the air. The griffin signifies the blend of two creatures, the wild and ferocious lion and the majestic and serene eagle. The amalgamation of the two signifies strength and wisdom that comes from within. The message of the card. Strength is about finding the serene balance between your primal urges and thoughts. It is about empowering yourself by knowing yourself and surrendering to your trusted instincts. Ultimately, this act of surrender is what will give you the inner courage to leap forward with faith and desire so you can hold space in the world from a place of grace. Griffin energy can help you channel the courage to take flight and narrow in on what is essential to focus on. This clear focus will help you expand your power and speak your truth. You will be able to walk your path with patience and compassion for yourself and others while still maintaining the courage and compassion to trust your instincts.
Yes. I love that. As I was preparing my thoughts for this recording this morning, it came to me that courage starts, and if you equate it to like our chakra system or the seven main chakras, our energy systems, starts in like the root with this base of survival, fight or flight. And
Mhm.
then it moves up through the solar plexus, which is that place of empowerment, personal power, will, authenticity. As it moves up and through and rises, ultimately it needs to come to the place where our intuition and our guidance, our third eye and our crown, are able to then take us into a place of forward yet positive movement. So
Mhm.
do you can you go back to that sentence? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Strength is about finding the serene balance between your primal urges and thoughts. It is about empowering yourself by knowing yourself and surrendering to your trusted instincts.
That literally to me speaks to taking us through energy that we need to harness within ourselves to move through our instinctual fuel, that empowerment that is needed for any courageous and bold action.
That flow concept that you're speaking of, it just really hit home with me. That is exactly what's happening in the ceremony this month. We are really focusing on the flow of energy and how it's moving and
Yes.
transforming. So that's going to be a really beautiful reflection of how that energy is moving within, and then seeing it move within the elements that we're working with as well.
Exactly. And those elements are ever so important in every one of our ceremonies or the rituals that we are doing, so that you begin to feel the flow just within yourself naturally. And it becomes something that when you are attuned to that, you then become aware of that outside of yourself. You become aware of the flow that happens between you and nature, between you and other people, between you and the things that you're manifesting, your goals, your aspirations, and hopes and dreams. So ultimately, I think people many times have asked me, can you help me find my purpose? Well, finding your purpose means moving yourself through all the things that make you happy, bring
Mhm.
you joy, and to do that in a way that you don't fall into self sabotage, that you don't go into a place where you are stalling or procrastinating, but just take that first step.
Getting to our true purpose and our true calling, that is a journey. That's a healing journey that you're describing. That isn't like a quick fix. Oh, there it is. There's my life purpose.
Well, but look at us. I mean, it's taken me decades to move through everything that has come before, and I still know that there's so much more to come, but it isn't a quick journey. It isn't. And every time we take a deeper step or a more personal step in that experiential journey, the stronger we get. And the more we like ourselves and the more we have inner peace.
I get this thought, like it's almost like coming into focus. Like you're taking steps towards, you're going down this healing journey, and you've got this end thought in mind that you want to know what your purpose is, and as you go, it's like it becomes more focused and clearer, and you can kind of see more and more what that purpose looks like.
Yes. When I think of finding your purpose, it's almost as if purpose could be a word that we could use instead, might be the word premise. And I know that sounds odd, but I need to find myself, my purpose on the premise that what do I want to be? And innately, maybe it just means being a kind human, someone who has empathy, someone who has done self growth and self care. So it doesn't mean that there's these golden arrows that are leading you to this pot of gold. Your purpose is part of your everyday life and experience.
Hmm. Well, and it takes courage to boldly go towards that purpose when all isn't known all the time, and you have healing steps along the way that you must take.
Yeah. And sometimes we find ourselves in relationships, we find ourselves in jobs, we find ourselves in many different experiences that almost hold us back. That because of everything that has led up to the point that you're at, it's almost overwhelming to think about taking that next step that is outside of what your comfort zone is. And even exploring our own emotions inside, oh, that takes us out of our comfort zone.
Man, I was talking to my mom the other day about emotions, and I was kind of not from my mom's perspective, but from my grandmother, who's passed now. It was when I was young, I was kind of in a really difficult emotional situation, and my grandma was like, "Don't you show emotions to your mother," because my mom had been injured very badly.
Mm,
And so and I was very young. I found out when that event actually took place, I was like 7.
okay.
And so, or no, I'm sorry, I was 6 turning 7.
Mhm.
And so I got in this process of taking emotions and just kind of
Pushing them.
just push them down. Just there isn't time to deal with that right now. Just push it down.
It's not acceptable for
Yeah,
you to have an
and
emotional.
and I don't believe that I am alone in that. I think our world is fast-paced, situations happen, and people have this tendency to just push emotions down, and then it has all these effects on our health, our mental well-being, our
Mhm.
spiritual well-being, and I don't know, I just feel it's this time, it's this call to action of let's be brave, let's be bold, and let's do it together.
Oh, yes.
This community that we're building, I think it helps us be more courageous and go boldly towards things because we know that there's others working through those same things at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great support community that we're building.
It is, it is,
Yeah.
and even outside of Light and Love Box, if you begin conversations about courage or about facing your own emotions, I bet those listening are gonna find they are amazed at how similarly different events in whoever you're speaking with, their past will align with yours, because people are not alone in this emotional processing, and it is yeah, it's deep and it's necessary. Light and Love Box allows us to energetically create the awareness, the energy, the shift and change that's happening. It just takes like one drop of water. And before you know it, we've got a cup full. And that's how I see this. It's like we're dripping month by month to make a collective change. And, we may not be aware of it. We don't know how full that cup is, whether it's a 2-ounce cup or a 200-ounce cup, but it doesn't matter because it's building and growing and it's happening as we do this together. So one thing I want to mention is in this intention box, the intention box for courage, that you're going to open it and find that there is a lot of fire. There are 2 candles, there is incense, there is charcoal, there's a lot of burning, if you will. And all of that is symbolic for igniting or starting this process. It maybe even just feeding it, fueling that process. But, it takes that passion, that spark, and this box on a very subliminal way allows us to do that. It is firing up all that courage within each one of us as we do the courage ceremony, the courage ritual.
That igniting, that flow that is connecting, that ignition, I think is very exciting.
It is. It is. Well, again, Tracy, I love it when we get a chance to just have conversations and to share them with everyone. We invite those of you who wish to dig even deeper to visit the link below and check out the Light and Love Box subscription. These monthly energy-based ceremonies are designed to help you focus on your true intentions, to help you manifest your best life while healing your spirit, your soul, your body, your mind, and your emotions.
Yes, and if you would be so kind to like and subscribe to our channel, that would be amazing, and we always look forward to seeing you next month.
Yes. A lot of gratitude to each and every one of you, and to you, Tracy. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe.